For my presentation, I decided to do childhood apraxia. I chose to do specifically childhood because in my future jobs, I really want to go into childhood speech and more of like younger age patients. So, for what is childhood apraxia? It is a speech and communication disorder where a child is born with a difficulty to make the proper muscles move when producing their speech. So therefore they cannot get things such as their tongue, their jaw, their lips to move the right way to pronounce the right sounds. Children are more likely to be diagnosed younger, so between ages 2 and 4, when they first really begin to speak and when you are actually able to hear the proper sounds and things that are being pronounced. The child typically has a hard time speaking words with complex movements, forming all syllables into full words, and even putting words together to form a full sentence. Children may struggle to pronounce correct sounds since the tongue or the jaw fails to be in the correct position when speaking. These sounds are spoken abnormally, and it typically is more common in the vowel sounds. A child may speak a word with sound simply or act like it's not difficult at all, but then repeating that sound may become a struggle for the child, and repeating it again is not something that they can easily do. Children can often attempt to use the correct sound in a word but are unable to produce it the right way. A child may emphasize incorrect syllables or use equal or incorrect emphasis on all of the syllables in each word. For example, they could say down instead of town, chicken instead of kitchen, or say a statement like, I want to say something, would come out as say something I want. Or struggling to choose which order the sounds in each letter of the word want will come out, so they could say the W sound, the N sound, the T sound, and then the A sound, because it would be spoken abnormally and their mouth can't fully pronounce the sounds that need to be pronounced. How does this affect a child's life? According to Mayo Clinic, less than 200,000 children in the United States are diagnosed with this disorder each year, so it is considered to be one of the rarer ones. Some early-on symptoms of this disease may include a difficulty with fine motor skills, delayed development language, and unusual sound errors. To be diagnosed with this disorder, you must first be tested by a speech pathologist. Children's motor skills, speech, melody, and how their mouths pronounce different sounds will be closely paid attention to, which is why it will be a better idea to go specifically to a speech pathologist instead of just a everyday doctor. For treatment of this disease, childhood apraxia does not have any true cure. With time and help from a speech pathologist and the correct forms of therapy, children can experience major improvement to help them communicate easily in their life. What causes this disorder? Majority of the time, it is actually unknown what really causes this disorder in patients, since it is something that goes on within the brain. Genetics may possibly be a reason as to what causes it, but it is not guaranteed that that's how it begins. Children who suffer from a stroke, infection, seizure, illness, or any other major injury before birth, specifically to the brain, are more likely to develop this disorder than children who don't. If we look in the brain and how its motor functions are affected, apraxia is caused by malfunctions in the child's brain. The desire to produce a movement is there, but the neurological signals going through the brain are failed and the movement is not able to be produced by the muscles. So the brain and the muscles basically are just not communicating fully or either partially, like I said earlier, how kids can pronounce some sounds, or they can pronounce it one way the first time correctly, and then a completely different time the second time, and that could be not right, or it could be partially off. The signals don't always match up, so the brain and the muscles don't always match up either. The main part of the brain that does not function correctly is the cerebral hemisphere, which contains the parietal lobe, which helps with speech. Yeah, and then here's my research page. That's really it.